like I don't really care that much about CEFR. If you're interested in IELTS, then I mean you naturally learn topic vocabulary, which is the main focal point. À, câu hỏi gì nữa không ta? You see, I don't like going back and forth between Vietnamese and English because I'm not quite sure about you, but whenever I try to be bilingual, I become bilingual. But the bi here is BYE, which means I cannot fully access either of the two languages that I'm supposed to be fluent in. I'm a Vietnamese. I'm supposed to be very fluent in Vietnamese, but whenever I try to go back and forth between these two languages, um, I can I can access neither of them. I have a problem when preparing for 4 more minutes, and then we can start the speaking session. I have a problem when preparing for part three. I focus on finding ideas that my grammar and vocabulary are messed up. Yeah, it's something that comes with the territory. Um, like you can try to balance, these two things just through practice. Like you can work out what ideas you wanna, convey first, and then you can focus on polishing the way that you express these ideas by going through these ideas several times. And it's something that like high level candidates do on a regular basis. As I've mentioned, whenever I prepare for the speaking test, essentially I just go through some of the answers that I already know like the back of my hand, and I do it religiously. I'm not quite sure if I can make it make sense, to you, but I go through familiar answers all the time, and I'm speaking to you all now as a way for me to, you know, um, get into the groove. Yeah, so if you have problems preparing for part three, just know that it's like part and parcel of the process. So don't worry. After um, making up your mind on what ideas you want to cover, you can move on with the vocabulary that you want to use to express yourself. Okay, 2 more minutes. How? Anh ơi, theo anh thì trong tiếng có âm chặn không ạ? What is an âm chặn? I don't know. But then again, I'm only saying that because I'm not a linguistic expert. I mean, I do know a thing or two about IELTS, but that's the full stretch of my ability. If you want to talk about phonetics and things of that nature, you really have to have a sort of repertoire related to these things. So for me, I don't know what it is, but perhaps more experienced teachers with more insights into phonetics can recognize these terms. Em anh chưa Z tin nhắn em từ sáng, em hỏi về khóa học IELTS. Ok, để tí anh xem lại nhé. How do you learn and apply phrasal verbs and collocations so naturally? Well, when it comes to acquiring phrasal verbs and collocations, along with just new words and ideas in general, I think that at the beginning, obviously it's going to be an uphill battle because like you're learning new things. So if you're struggling, perhaps it means that you're headed in the right direction, right? When I was younger, I did spend a lot of time like learning new words, and it took me a while to wrap my head around what I was learning. And in 2022 specifically, I spent a lot of time learning phrasal verbs and idioms, and I highly recommend the like phrasal verb and idiom in use published by Oxford, not Cambridge, Oxford. If you want to take things up a notch and like learn more idioms. But even back then, I could only learn 2 or 3 pages, which corresponded to 2 or 3, 3 or 4 units before I gave up. Because I wanted to have a sort of a sort of motivation for me to just embark on the journey. And then I decided to grab the bull by the horns, learning idioms from the videos that I watched or the articles that I read. And I tried my very best to use phrasal verbs and collocations in as many contexts as possible. So perhaps that's something that you might want to try. If you're struggling for the time being, it's okay. I mean, it's something that comes with the territory when you're trying to learn something new. But I guess you can keep your fingers crossed that somewhere down the line you will be able to master all of these words. Okay? Do I have any other questions? No? All right, then I'm gonna call someone up now. I'm going to call English for Fun then. No, he's not in the room. Okay. 加油, cố lên. There's that song. Right, anh gì mà gì nhỉ? Anh ơi cố lên. 1212. That song is so stupid, it's so good. I love it. And the fact that, in some concerts where that song is performed, the intro to the song is, this is the anthem from the girl group who Vebet in a live show. I mean, I died when I watched these videos. But that's the kind of like confidence and self-faith that we all need in life. Oh, I'm gonna call someone else then. Khôi, hello Khôi. I'm gonna call Tú then. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh wow, your voice is so deep.
Sorry, my connection is kind of bad.
We can hear you clearly. I'm just saying that your voice is so deep.
You can say
What
that
exact
again.
what exactly did you go through, to get this kind of euphonious voice?
Well, I actually was a lecturer at a university here in Vietnam. So I guess teaching kind of like gives me this voice.
So it wasn't puberty, it was a job.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Um,
Okay. So um I'd like to get the ball rolling by asking you to give me a 1 minute introduction about yourself, and then we can do the speaking test. How does that
hmm.
sound?
Um, okay. But I think it's kind of hard for me to introduce myself. I don't know. I don't really know where to begin. But um, okay, so first of all, I think I should go with the name so you can see that what is presenting on the screen. But it's actually like a very random name I got by TikTok. I don't know why the system gives me this name, but I happens to be Do, but actually you can call me Tom. Kind of funny. Yes, Tom, Tom. That's my nickname ever since I got to my very first how do I call it? Like formal institution. I guess when you study at a school for where most of the students are foreigners, then the teachers must have to come up with like a foreign nickname for you. And for me, is Tom, like Tom in Tom and Jerry.
Hmm.
Uh-huh. Back then, that was my thought, and I kind of like it. But growing up, I think Tom for me is more like Tom and Tom Riddle in Harry Potter. You know,
The
it's
way that you
kind of
said Harry
funny.
Potter is disgusting and disturbing as well.
I'm sorry, but it is a very impressive way to remind someone of British accent. And in the case of Harry Potter, I think it works, but not
Okay.
in that way. I'm very sorry if it triggers anyone.
But you'll find the people in this comment section exceptionally chill. Yes. I'm the only
Oh,
lunatic around here, and I'm fine with
but
that.
the kind, sorry, I mean, your kind of lunatic is kind of cute, especially the flowers that is hovering.
I
Yes,
know, right?
around
Doesn't
your
this
glass,
look like
yes.
someone who's in the asylum? Like they often put, little flowers on their hair and things like that.
Sorry,
Don't
you got
doesn't
me
my face
joking
fit
when
fit the bill?
sorry, you got me joking when you put your hands that way right in front, right next to your glasses.
Okay.
Kind of like feminist and kind of handsome at the same time.
Okay, so what do you want?
I don't know. I have seen your live for the last few days, and I think your section has always been so cool. So I just want to be here.
That's not why people want to come up here. Oftentimes they want to have some sort of speaking practice. Now, do you want to have a speaking session or not?
Sure, let's give it a try.
Hmm. Okay. Now, let's talk about ice cream. When you
Hmm.
were younger, did you often eat ice cream? Wait, hold on. Before we start, let me shout out to a few people. Hello, Bill. Right? He's very special because he was here when I had only one viewer, which was,
Oh,
him. Hello,
mm,
Zoom. I think Zoom is the one with, that CPR, CPE, essentially one of those certificates
mm.
that is very prestigious. Who else is here?
Well, I have
Uh,
stalked Dũng profile the other day, and it was truly impressive.
yes, but you can ignore him for the time being. Okay, so let me repeat the question. When you were younger,
Okay.
did you often eat ice cream?
So you see, I think like many other kids, as a boy, I was so in love with sweet desserts, and ice cream is for sure one of them. Um, right now, I don't really know why. Back then, I was like fond for this too sweet dessert, but now I don't like it anymore. I think part of it is that I find sugary products or products that contain too much sugar detrimental for my physical health. I guess so.
Hmm. And where can you buy ice cream where you live?
Hmm. Um, I think, let me think. Actually, because the last time I bought an ice cream was like years ago, but I think we can easily buy it at the nearest convenience store. Yeah, I think so.
Hmm. In the future, do you want to try out other flavors of ice cream?
Try out other flavors of ice cream. Um, so ever since I was a kid, I tried strawberry, chocolate as classic, vanilla. I think I have never like gone to extra when it comes to ice cream. So yes, maybe I'll give it another try in the near future.
Hmm. Thank you. In the next part, I'd like to discuss with you one or two general questions related to what you have not been talking about. Now let's talk about traditional products. What traditional products are popular in your country?
Hmm. Traditional products. I think when it comes to my country, sorry, foreigners or people outside this country might think of ao dai as
Mm,
our traditional dress and phở as the most like delicious culinary dish. Mm, sorry, my bad, but I forgot the question.
sure,
Please, can you
sure.
repeat it?
So, what traditional products are popular in your country? You've mentioned traditional outfits like ao zai. Anything else?
Ah, thank you very much. Um, so I mentioned two products. The first one is ao dai as our traditional um, like costume, and the second one is for as the most delicious culinary dish. Um, so I think these are heavily advertised by our communications systems, and
Thank you. Well, then, do you think that it's important for children to learn about traditional products?
mm, I think the answer is pretty obvious that for sure they should learn about traditional products because only by this can they understand and truly embrace the traditional values that have been passed generation by generation. For example, as I have mentioned before, as I said before, áo dài, well, this can be seen as a outfit to some, but it also carries with it the beauty of traditional Vietnamese
Thank you.
women.
Do you think that in the future, some traditional products will disappear?
Mm, I think even though it's a shame, but I think some traditional products might no longer be found. Um, Let me think. Um, I think we should go
So
back
what
to Áo
may
Dài one more time.
Sure,
Yeah.
but what may be the cause of their impending disappearance?
Um, Sorry, but what do you mean by impending?
Something that's going to happen.
Oh, thank you very much. Um, I think it's not, I'm not talking about the complete disappearance of the products, but the products might find a new life in today's uh, these days. For example, I was talking about áo dài, and as we can look at what has already happened to áo dài throughout the history of our country, you can see that its form, its material, the way that it has been like tailored has changed dramatically. So I think in the near future, as we have already seen in the last few years, Ao Dai will still exist, but in a very different form and shape. For
Thank you.
example, it might
So
become
essentially,
shorter.
thank you. So your point is that some traditional products will evolve to take on a new form.
Ah,
Okay, fine. That's an interesting point. I do think that products will have to undergo different levels of metamorphosis to become something new, something
ah.
that is more updated and more relevant to the mainstream culture. But do you think that some products will just disappear altogether? Like people will completely forget about them?
Mm, yes, I think so. Some will no longer fit the modern values. Um, oh, this is kind of bad because I can really come up with an
Thank you.
like instant example.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, I really wanted to, take you out of your comfort zone, but in the test, it's not going to be a problem. First of all, are you
Mm.
even interested in taking the IELTS test anywhere down the line?
Um, yes, I'm thinking of taking it like next year. Well, it's part of my resolution for 2026.
Next year, as in December next year.
No, next year, like in 2026. Like I don't know, maybe in May or I don't
Okay.
know, May or June. Yeah.
Okay. It's gonna be May then. Um, do you want to have any feedback regarding your answers?
Oh, please.
Okay. Sometimes when people are too polite, I'm not quite sure what to do, which is
Mm,
weird because I also dislike being told what to do.
mm,
But then again, I guess that's, a problem that I need to get to grips with by myself.
mm,
Now, first of all, I think that most of your answers were perfectly understandable. I also appreciate the depth of your vocal range. Every time you sighed, I really felt like you took all of us on a trip down to somewhere close to the center of the earth, right, at the bottom of the ocean, along with those crustaceans and the dead bodies of certain sea animals. Right. So that's certainly a wonderful thing. Um, Choco Choco Chip, or whatever your name is. I tried not to say that word, right? But then you just spelled it out. How honest you are.
mm.
Um, well, there were a couple of mistakes.
Mm.
Falling for, you were talking about ice cream. To say that you
Yes.
fall for a flavor is a bit much. You
Okay.
fall for a person. You
Mm.
essentially you fall in love with someone, but fall for an ice cream flavor. That's a bit
I'm
much.
sorry.
Okay. And in speaking part three, I asked you some questions regarding traditional products. Truth to be told, it's a very challenging topic, not because, we're so out of touch with our own traditional products, it's more because of the fact that we don't talk about, these products on a regular basis. Like we appreciate them, we celebrate them, we think that they carry, a certain historical and cultural significance, but we don't talk about them in our normal conversations. So I thought that you did a good job. There were a couple of errors, like when you said that Aozai, for instance, embodied a value that was passed generation by generation. I think the more
Passed
appropriate
down.
phrase would be from generation to generation,
Ah.
right? Or throughout many generations, right? So that was the one mistake that I noted. For the most part, I was just listening to your main ideas. I thought that your answers were sensible. And for the last question, I deliberately challenged you with that one because I was listening to you, right? And I was asking you about traditional products that might become completely forgotten in the future, right? But essentially, you gave me the example of something that would evolve to become something else. So you didn't exactly, hit the nail on the head for me, which was why I had to, follow up with another question about
Mm.
something that I really wanted you to talk about. But I think that in the speaking test, examiners do that all the time, right? And even when your answers are slightly off topic, um, I don't think that they're going to penalize you that much, right?
Well,
Especially
actually,
because you told me right after that you did have a particular example that would fit my description. So I thought that it was fine.
thank you very much. But for the last part, I was actually trying my best to compromise. Sorry, improvise. To
Mm,
improvise because I can't really come up with any like traditional products that is likely to be forgotten.
mm,
So I did the best that I could. Um, but for my answer, you have put it in a way more beautiful way, and I truly admire that of you. Thank you very much. It was just not a simple like speaking section, but it has been like you have successfully shown me. what is there to be a band 9 speaker? You truly show me the distance.
Is that a compliment?
Yes, it was a
Oh,
very honest compliment because the last time that I took the test was like years ago and I got a 7. So from 7 to 9 is quite a distance, right?
you can say so.
Yeah, and you truly show me how beautiful language can be. Thank you very
Ah,
much.
okay. Thank you, too. I heard what you said, but there's someone in the comment section. Hannah, um, give me some hearts, girl. And sorry, too. I was listening to what you were saying, but I noticed someone else here as well. Um, okay. Look, I didn't try to, you know, show you up because I think that I'm kind of above that at this point.
For
But
sure. For
no, no, no,
sure.
no, no, no. It means that I don't have any particular interest in showing that I'm superior to you. That's what I meant. Um, and if you manage to learn something useful from this session, well, then good for you. That's all.
Mm, so I just want to say it again. I didn't mean it in a like negative ways.
Mm,
Yes, I'm eager to learn, especially from people like you.
mm.
Yes, I can see the intention. Really, really good one, and it's pure and genuine.
Okay.
Thank you very much for being here.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, thank you. I hope that you had a good time. And anything else that you'd like to add? You have 1 minute.
Okay. Let me think. Let me think. Um, I've read some of your content on what do we call it? Threads.
Threats? Yes.
Yes, threads. Especially your writing. Your writing.
Mm,
Well, actually, I ran into one. I don't know yesterday or today, but you were posting some post about like the differences in a high band score writing piece, right? One of them was your students, and the three others is yours. Were
yes.
yours? Yeah, do you recall it?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Uh huh. So, what did you do? What have you done to get such a clear, progression in your writing?
Well, look, I would say that the actual answer for that question is super complicated. I mean, it's a very convoluted process, but essentially, I went through different phases with my writing. Right? So when I was younger in 2022, I focused excessively on my vocabulary because I thought that, my vocabulary wasn't sufficient and um, it wouldn't be able to, make the right impression on the examiner. And then somewhere down the line, I was instructed to focus on like the strength of my arguments instead. And
Mm,
then I discovered that, you know, just through trial and error, I needed to, improve the quality of my evidence, which included my examples. So it's more or less something that I learned really through experience. That's the how. And I know it's such a nebulous answer. What do you mean by learn through experience, right? But I did that. I mean, I tested out different methods, and I'm still working on it. To be honest, I'm not a first language user, and like to be honest, I'm not even that passionate about IELTS. So this is really whatever that I've got right now is the result of just testing things out and seeing what works for me.
okay, I see. I see. Um, can I have one more question? Just
Okay.
this is the last one. This is the last one. So I see. there's been like a lot of testing and experimentation that you've been doing. So how can you evaluate the process?
Mm.
How do you know that whatever you're doing with the language is right? Because from what I see is that you can like integrate like quite a lot of fancy words and phrases into your speech in a very like fluent and natural way.
Did you skip the first segment of this live stream?
I'm sorry, I just got home and jumped right on the bandwagon.
Okay. Okay. Well, to cut a long story short, this is what I did. When I was younger, I did have to make an effort to learn new words, like the rest of you. Actually, like all of you, I still do that. But back then, well, um, essentially I tested, my vocabulary items in various contexts, and after a while, you know, my experience crystallized in ideas that could be used in various contexts. Do you understand? So at the beginning, I went through the phase of learning in a very mechanical way. So I would, learn idioms from books and websites and various sources. And, I place a lot of emphasis on, just learning them by heart. And I would use them in a very mechanical way. Like when I was younger, um, I wasn't really an effective teacher because of the fact that, I was so obsessed with like loading my answers with complicated words, right? And then after a while, I just calmed down. And in 2023, I went through a different phase with my vocabulary. I focused excessively on the clarity, of what I said, to the point that I was willing to sacrifice the complexity of my lexical resources. So I was like this, right? And then I went down like this, and now I'm, somewhere in between. So I think that there's no secret to my success. If you consider, what I'm doing right now to be a form of success. But essentially, I did what all of you are doing right now. You're learning. We're all learning new words, and we try our very best to implement them in as many contexts as possible. And it's just that I did all of these steps many moons ago, and now I get to um, turn over a new leaf and like move on to a different phase, vocabulary wise. That's all.
Mm, thank you very much. But
Mm.
hey, solitary loner, I think it's not simplified. It was more of crystallizing. Yes, here's the products. Here's the beautiful result of everything that he has been trying to do. So I guess
My
my
God.
my time here has come to an end.
Yes, yes, yes,
Okay,
yes,
thank
yes,
you
yes.
very much.
Enough with
Thank you
these
very
corny
much.
comments. Okay, thank you. And good luck with the test too. I hope that you will hop on this session somewhere down the line, okay?
Okay, thank you very much. See ya.
I'm gonna call someone else. Yeah, thank you. Um, who am I supposed to call now? Hello, IELTS score Hannah. Miss Hannah, I can sort of vaguely hear your voice, from this distance because, like it feels like your vocal cords are equipped with a loudspeaker. Who should I call? Hello, Yum Kira. Kira as in the girl, Kira. The one who the part that put a lot of people behind bars. Okay. Sultry Lona. Oh, Kara. Sorry. Nhân Huỳnh then. Is that Nhân Huỳnh or Nhan Huỳnh?
Oh, it's Young Hun.
Nhân Huỳnh. Have we talked before?
Yeah, it's just yesterday, actually.
Well
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
you know, I don't think that a lot of progress can be achieved in just one day. So I can ask you questions, but I'm not going to give you any feedback, okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, you're gonna practice.
I'm gonna throw a few speaking part 3 questions your direction, and after that, you can give me like a 2-minute reflection on what you have managed to achieve, and then you go off the grid, okay?
Okay, I had to spend some time to process what you just said, but I think I can do it.
Okay, it's okay. I've just laid down the framework of what we're going to do.
All right.
Now, let's go through a few speaking part 3 questions. Let's talk about let's talk about the sky. What are the things that you can see when you look up at the sky?
Well, where do I even begin? You know, when you look at the skies, you see there's so many things. Like you see clouds, you see rainbows, you see stars, nebulas, and galaxies just floating in the vast, in the vastness of space. I think like it's quite a wonder if you have time to look up there.
Well then, in your opinion, why do some people enjoy looking at the sky?
Well, being someone that does that, I say like the sky, in my opinion, offer this sense of freedom. Like it's so vast, you know, like it's immensely vast. It has no end, no beginning. So when I look up there, I feel free, you know, because like I feel like my problem that I'm having right now is so small, so minuscule that it doesn't even matter in the grand scheme of things. So in that sense, I just feel like it's a way to relieve yourself of the change that kind of caught on you like every day. You know, just
Okay,
for a
thank you.
moment.
Well then, is there anything special about sunset and sunrise?
I mean, like if you look at it from a purely physical like form, you know, like purely physically, I think it's still wonder. You know, you see how the day ends and a new day arises. So a new time, and it's beautiful. No one can deny that. It's very, very beautiful. And I think, you know, in a poetic sense, is signify a new start. You know, even after an entire day full of stress, full of pains for some, the sun will rise again. So I think it's beautiful in that way too.
Yeah, the word minuscule does bring back some memory.
Yeah, I was the very last person yesterday, actually.
Okay, well then, I'm gonna give you 1 minute to do a bit of a reflection with regard to what you have managed to achieve.
Like for my answers.
Yes.
Well, I suppose. So let's talk about the good points because I have so many bad ones, to be honest. Like I think that I was able to articulate my thoughts more clearly because like this is in my wheelhouse. You know, I like talking about the sky. I actually just watched a documentary about taking photos of the Milky Way just like minutes ago. So I was really in love with the sky, and you asked that topic, so it was really good. Yeah. But of course, there are also missteps. Like remember that I still has that tendency to mix minor gaps in my answers sometimes. So there's that. And I also kind of messed up some of the pronunciation with the ending sounds and all. Even though it has diminished somewhat, but it's obviously still there.
Mm.
Um, well, and I suppose in a way, I feel like the structural integrity of my answers is still a little bit off. I want it to be more. I want to be like you know, like you can use, like when I said in the comments, like you can use all of these amazing expressions and idiomatic expressions in such an eloquent way, and I want to be like that, but I'm just not there yet. So that's something I can improve upon as well.
I am not the bar.
Well, I mean, yeah, but for me, you are something to aim for, though. I truly do mean that, and I think a lot of people here as well.
Uh, okay. Well, to be honest, um, for me, nothing is different. I mean, we literally talked 24 hours ago, so I'm glad that you're here. But personally, I thought that half of the things that you said were fictional.
Uh,
Um, but okay, I like the fact that you're so imaginative when it comes to your improvement.
so is there anything that I got actually better? Like not better, but like anything that you probably don't remember me from yesterday. So just based on today, is there anything you maybe kind of point out for me? Yeah, because I.
Well, you said I has. I has that tendency to do something.
Oh
I
yeah,
have.
yeah,
Okay.
right.
Um, Nothing else. I mean, I don't remember you, but sorry, I didn't mean that in a, CD kind of way. Um, what I meant was that I don't remember you specifically, but I do remember you because you used these two words, pedigree, right?
Yes,
Pedigree
yeah, that's
and
the one.
and
Minuscule.
minuscule.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I remember these words, and I don't think that anything has changed. It has been only like 24 hours.
Hmm.
So, well, thank you for
Yeah.
stopping by.
Yeah. Wait, just before I go, I just like had one question because the comment that you gave me yesterday is kind of stuck with me, and still having a little bit of difficulties figuring it out what it is that you said. So I kind of want a bit more extension on that, if you may.
Okay, sure.
So like,
Please remind me of what I said.
so yesterday when I believe we talk about like technology and how it can affect our life, and I gave quite a lengthy answer, and you said that uh, when I am in the test room, I should just be safe instead of trying to be bold. Yeah.
Mm.
And you should just stick to, like, don't try to like, how you say this. Yeah, you were also having difficulty with this as well. You said that don't try to go out of your way to show off. I'm not sure if I'm getting that right, but that is what like lingers in my mind, so that's why I'm so caught up with it.
Oh, okay. Well, I think what I meant yesterday was that essentially, as I was listening to you, I noticed that there were certain parts where you were really in your element, which was great. Like you just kept on pumping out, ideas which were expressed in very nice words and grammar structures. So I thought that, that was when you were, like on a roll essentially. But then for some other questions, you hesitated a lot, mostly because like you were really trying to verbalize what was like in your head, what was in your mind. And I thought that it was fine, but I noticed that there were several points of unnecessary hesitation. You understand? So I think that when you practice at home, you can definitely take yourself out of your comfort zone and tackle more sophisticated ideas that you can't really fully express in English. And then you can polish these ideas again and again just to achieve a higher level of fluency and also clarity as you go through different selections of words. right? But in the test room, it's better for you to stick with what you have already known. There's nothing wrong with, like, speaking your mind. But the problem with that particular approach is that sometimes, like, your ideas are super sophisticated in Vietnamese and you're super ambitious with what you want to say, but your current um, expertise in English can't really, cover, that much ground. So you end up using, inappropriate words or inappropriate grammar and things like that,
I see. I see.
right? So if you're taking the test, it's best that, you just stick with what you have already known, right? And there's nothing wrong with experimenting with ideas. But perhaps, just one or two ideas. Don't turn your speaking test into a real test of your knowledge because that's gonna go, really poorly for you.
Yeah. So, so if I'm getting you right, you're saying essentially I should not use the test time to be used as my like experience ground. Like you don't experience,
Yes.
yeah, when you're in the field. You can
Yeah,
do it at
yeah,
home all the one. Like, okay, okay, all
yeah.
right, that's amazing. Okay, yeah, I
Let me
didn't
give you an
think of it
example
like
that you
that.
understand what I'm talking about. The other day, not the other day, but several months ago, I'm gonna give me 1 minute. I'm gonna go through this very easily. So a few months ago, I took the test, right? And on that particular day, I was given the topic of describing, an ad that I found interesting. So I could have just, stuck to what I knew back then, which was books, right? But I went off the beaten track to talk about an iPhone and an ad about it. So I thought it was a good idea, but then, as I was navigating the test, I realized that I was so out of my element.
Hmm.
And I didn't have the right words to talk about what was, so vivid in my mind, and I got a 7.5 out of that test, which is not exactly a bad score, but um, I mean, I took the test, a couple of weeks later on, and it was a 9. So there's this huge discrepancy between what you think that you know and what you actually are capable of speaking about. And I think that you should play on the safer side of the fence, talking
Hmm.
about what you know, okay, instead of what you think that you know, okay. That's
Yes.
all.
Okay, that's
All right.
amazing advice. Thank you so much.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I'm gonna call someone else. There's the golden kiddo here. He's off the grid again. Oh, hold on. He's here. Come on. You need to go to Lynn. Come on, more time, more time. Richard. Ah, Colin, I cannot hear you. You're not even on yet. Hmm. Well, darling, give it 15 minutes. I'm gonna put Richard on. I wonder if Richard's here.
Oh my god, really? Oh, hello.
Hello. What's your name?
You can call me Richard,
Right.
because I'm
Sorry.
too
Sorry.
shy to reveal the real name.
Okay. Sure, that's fine. So, how old are you and where are you at the moment?
I'm just a high school student and I'm living in the capital city.
So Hanoi it is.
Yeah.
Okay. May I know the name of your school?
Definitely not in school, of course. Um, I'm studying in a pretty normal school in Hanoi, not
Okay.
international schools or something.
Right. And so what do you want?
I would like to test my IELTS like abilities because I'm going to take it, but I still not know my level.
Okay.
And I can,
Sure.
yeah,
I want to ask you a few questions.
yes.
Let's talk about gardens. Are there many gardens where you live?
No, actually, because I'm living in a metropolitan areas, so there are more apartments and buildings compared to gardens. People can spot gardens in only, let's say, parks or national parks, but it's really rare because
Hmm.
in my city, I think it might be around 2 or 3 space for it. So
Hmm.
I don't think it's that much.
Do you often spend time in public gardens?
Sometimes, usually at the weekend, because I only have free time at that moment. So I would definitely go for it for relaxations, chilling, or socializing with my friends there. And also,
Hmm.
it can also increase my health because the fresh atmosphere. Although I have to admit that Hanoi, it's not that poor. Let's say.
Let's continue. In the next part of the test, I'd like to discuss with you one or two general questions related to something that you have not talked about. Let's talk about advertisements. Where in your city can you find advertisements?
Mm, I think on the screen in front of lots of buildings in Hanoi, you can see. So every time I travel to school or at work, I can spot lots of banners and um, let's say videos displaying on in front of lots of buildings, apartments, and offices. So that's the first part, and the second part is from person, which means that it can be delivered um, offline, so that people will interact with you and like give an instructions about their companies and what they could provide for you. So that's two distinct types of
Thank you.
advertisements.
Thank you. So, do you think that do you think that the government should ban advertisements in certain locations?
Mm, I don't think so because I feel like um, seeing we can see the national debt and the, let's say, tax that companies have to give for the government. So where can they get it from? So definitely the advertisements or the revenue that they got. So if giving prohibitions towards the advertisements could hinder the let's say the cash that they got, and they cannot contribute to the society or the government's
Thank you.
fund.
Do you think that do you think that um, people should prohibit advertisements that aim at children?
I think it largely depends on the styles of advertisements. For example, um, if the advertisements tend to demonstrate a violent actions, for example, violent games or like such kind of video games as well. But if it's aims at education opportunities, such as learning English like this, or offering free programs for parents, which they can learn and understand more about their offsprings and children's, then I think it should be promoted rather
Thank
than
you.
restricted.
Thank you. Okay. I feel like you got the potential of someone who might get a 7 in speaking.
Mm,
There were a couple of mistakes in the weekend in that moment. first of all, you should use the preposition of on the weekend or at weekends, right? One of these two options. And I would say that the weekend is a rather long period of time, so you cannot refer to it as that moment, but you can say during that time of the week. It's a safer way to rephrase as well, right? That time of the week, or at the end of the week, or Saturday and Sunday, right? Increase my health. I think it's better to say improve my health. Not even enhance, not even enhance. I think increase doesn't make sense here. Improve is the best option, right? Or you can say just to make you healthier, right? If you want to use the word increase, then that should be increase your fitness level, okay? For speaking part three, I wasn't exactly like scrutinizing your grammar and lexical accuracy. Um, I was checking for like the overall message. I thought that your words were well, they were not accurate at all times, but um, the quality of your answer was pretty nice. I like the fact that you were willing to expand on the ideas that you provided. And I do think that that's something that you need to do in the speaking test. However, I do recommend you to do this. For the first question in speaking part three, do not list things out. So I asked you that question. What was that again? Where in your city can you find advertisements, right? The
Yes.
first question in speaking part three oftentimes deals with just general knowledge, and many candidates are compelled to list things out. But the problem is the point of the speaking test is not your general knowledge, even though if you possess lots of knowledge, it's definitely going to be an advantage for you, right? But the thing is, the moment you start listing things out, you're no longer discussing. You understand? So
Yes.
for the very first question, always try to explain more. Instead of saying like, okay, so you can find advertisement here, here, and here, you can say, well, there are many places where you can find advertisements. First of all, I think that you'll find lots of advertisements at busy junctions. Like, here in Hanoi, we have multiple streets that are always crowded with traffic. And along these streets, you can find all sorts of advertisements. Like, there are huge billboards for big companies like Gojek and hold on, Gojek is no longer here, right? So Grab or Shopee, and oftentimes you'll see advertisements of competing brands side by side, which is very interesting. And you can also find like leaflets attached to traffic lights. So essentially, I think the reason for the density of advertisements in these areas is because like there are lots of people traveling around, so brands can like increase their exposure, which can then lead to higher sales and revenues. I'm giving you a demonstration. I don't think that it's practical for you to execute all of these ideas the way I did, but what I'm trying to say is that you should cultivate the habit of discussing things rather than listing things out, especially in speaking part three. Okay. And if you can, take the initiative of discussing, then I think that you're going to be in a much better position and you're going to be able to make a better impression like right out of the gate as well. Okay. And the same applies to speaking part one. Even when they are asking you about, let's say, the different flavors of ice cream that you might enjoy, instead of listing them out, try to describe them a little bit, right? That's the hallmark of someone who is clearly a band 7 at the very least. Okay?
Yes. Thank you for that advice. But what do you think that I can improve on, like the 4 criteria of the IELTS? I mean, in the pronunciations, can you give me the score for that, or the fluency and coherence?
I do think that it's better for you to focus on fluency in terms of like expanding your ideas in a more discursive way. So that's the first thing. I thought that you would get a 6 for fluency, although you were pretty fluent throughout, right? So focus more on the discursive side of things. As far as vocabulary and grammar are concerned, I assume that you're going to have to learn new words and grammar structures anyway, because that's what, people of your caliber do. You learn new words all the time, right? So that's a given. As far as pronunciation is concerned, I, how should I say this? I thought that your pronunciation was clear, but there was, how should I say this? Like, I don't think that there were clear signs of chunking, you know? So perhaps you need to work on your chunking a bit more. You might want to emphasize certain words a bit more clearly, especially words that carry the meaning of the chunk that you're trying to say. Because honestly, now that I think about it, I don't recall you stressing any word. Like your speech was like a very boring river that just flew past my life, flowed past my life, and perhaps you need to work on your stressing. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
Okay.
stressing.
These 2 things. Focus on discussing. Oftentimes, the more you try to discuss, the more you're gonna need to use topic vocabulary. Understand?
Yes.
And that's how you should learn vocabulary. You're not supposed to list them out mindlessly. You're supposed to use these words for, particular purposes, right? So a 7, potentially. But there's still some work to do, okay?
Thank
All right.
you.
Bye-bye. I'm gonna call Jason Lee. Jason Derulo. Do you know that iconic meme? Jason Derulo. That's a catchphrase. I wonder if Jason Lee is in the building. Oh, he's not in the building. Oliver. Hello.
Hello, good evening, good night.
You do realize that the moment you say good night, you're packing everything in, right?
I'm not so sure, but good evening doesn't sound very suitable.
It's okay, just say hi. I mean, hi, Oliver.
Yeah, hi, Quilly? How can I say?
Keely.
Killy. All right, that's great. Such an honor to be here, to be honest.
Really?
I've been following you for quite a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
How old are you, may I ask?
You guess.
You sound like someone who is really old. Let's say 32.
Really? Oh my god. No, I'm 28, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, so what do you want, Oliver?
I'm not so sure. You want to test me? I can do that.
Well,
If you
I
like,
don't want anything. I
okay,
mean, this is
yeah,
usually a
yeah.
speaking session. So if
Uh,
you want to speak, then I'm going to ask you a few questions. It's just that I only know about IELTS. I mean, my repertoire is kind of limited.
okay, so yeah, I think doing an mock test would be great as well because I've just got my speaking test recently and it was kind of disappointed. So yeah,
Okay, right. I can ask you a few questions. Let's
yes.
talk about flowers.
Oh my
Are there
god.
many flowers where you live?
I'd say no because I'm living in a typical cities, right, where you would see more, streets and vehicles more often than flowers.
Okay. And have you ever grown flowers by yourself?
Uh, no, I've never done that before. Although that kind of activity have, I used to think about that, but I've never really get down to it. Yeah.
Hold on. Is there a flower that has a special meaning in your country?
I believe that we have, such as like roses, which normally represent love, which is also the reason why people often use it as gift during special occasions. And also, I believe blossom flowers, which represent spring and New Year.
Okay. In the next part of the test, I'd like to discuss with you one or two general questions related to something that you have not talked about.
Yes,
Let's
great.
talk
I like
about
that.
traditions. What are some of the most popular traditions in your country?
I would say that the most prevalent one is to give lucky money for kids at the beginning of the year, as some kind of like a wish for luck and fortune for the kids, I guess. So that's one thing. Mm, yeah, and I think it's just that for now.
Hmm. Uh, do you think that social media have a negative impact on the popularity of traditions?
A negative impact. Well, so far I don't think that it's the case because, well, I believe that, since so many people use social medias nowadays, it allows people, right, to share about their indigenous cultures to the world. So, from a perspective, I guess that should be a good thing for, let's say, lesser known traditions. However, I think that it might create some kind of competition where, like local traditions are outshadowed by more foreign cultures. Yeah, so that's what I think.
Hmm. Um, how can we preserve like precious traditions?
So I believe there are, a wide ranges of approaches. So first of all, I believe education plays a essential role. Because we need to instill in the young generations the values of the local traditions so that in the long term it can still exist, I guess. And also, I believe that social awareness, I mean, let's say, uh, yeah, man, I have no clue about these topics.
Okay, thank you. That's it for today.
Yeah, thank you
Well,
so much.
I do think that again, traditions as well as traditional products are really difficult to talk about. Not because of the fact that, we don't have traditions or traditional products, but more because of the fact that we don't actually talk about them on a regular basis. And okay, I thought that right out the gate, I could tell that you knew how to speak English, which was an advantageous impression. But are you interested in taking the IELTS speaking test?
Yes, for sure. Actually, I'm an IELTS teacher, so
Oh,
that's the reason why I've just recently took the test. But to be honest with you, I don't took the test very often. It was my second time actually, after the first time, which was like 2 years ago. So I just took it because I had to.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I thought that let's get some of the strong points out of the way. I mean, you know how to speak English, you know how to develop your answers, you have vocabulary, you're fully aware of, different types of grammar structures. Your pronunciation is clear for the most part, right? I think that what should be taken for granted at this point is that you have covered all the bases. So let's get all these things out of the way so that you can focus on what you can do to take your score to the next level, okay?
Yes. Yes.
First of all, in speaking part one, I thought that some of your answers were too short. And I think that more or less it's a mentality issue. When you're taking the speaking test, like you have to like take matters into your own hands. Like you have to take the initiative of developing your ideas. You understand?
Yes.
So I knew that you
Yes.
were able to speak, but I felt like you sort of fenced yourself in because you felt like you didn't know much about a particular topic, or you just felt like, lazy during that particular moment. So I think that you need to cultivate this habit of, just keep on, of just keeping, like extending your ideas. And even for speaking part one, you should not ever let yourself feel like, okay, this is not something that I know that much about, so I'm just gonna give a lazy answer. That's not the kind of impression that you want to make. Even for
Yes.
speaking part one, you got very nice phrases through and through, so that's not a problem. But you definitely need to show them more often, even if it means that you have to, step out of your comfort zone a little bit and make some sort of speculations, right?
Yes.
Um, and when you were talking about roses, you referred to them as it. It's a very common mistake, but I think that's a grammatical point that you need to, just keep an eye out for, because
Yes.
it's a very common mistake. But at the same
Yes.
time, if you want to, get to a higher level, so accuracy is key. Okay.
Yes.
For speaking part three, I thought that again your answers were valid, but again, there was that perennial problem of you not, willingly extending your answers. I only asked you one follow-up question, right? So I really want you to, practice discussing ideas a bit more often. I mean, there are different ways to navigate a discussion. Sometimes if you got a lot of knowledge on it, then on the topic that you're talking about, then sure, right? Just
Yeah.
knock yourself out. But
Yeah.
I mean, like, we don't always get that sort of topic, so we have to, stay vigilant and think that okay, this is what I need to do to get a high score. So always try to speculate, think of a possible explanation, and for very abstract topics, I think the rule of thumb for me is to, find examples
Yes.
right after providing an explanation, because for these topics, the more you try to,
Yeah.
discuss them in a sort of like theoretical way,
Yes.
essentially your back is against the wall,
Yep. Yes.
right?
Exactly.
Because you're not going to be able to, get out of that situation. Okay. um, there were a couple of mistakes to show their indigenous. I think that you forgot the word culture
Mm.
to the world, right? And I also think that you need to be more aware of whether or not you're still capable of extending your answers, because essentially you ended two answers on the same note. You said something like, "Yeah, that's it." right?
Yeah.
Usually there are more elegant ways to bring your answers to an end. You can stretch some of the words out and you can lower your intonation,
Yes.
right? To signal to the examiner that this is the end of your answer and they should probably jump in and save you with a question or something.
Mm.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that for someone of your caliber, I'm just gonna give you a few notes with regard to some of the things that you might want to work on.
Yes.
Okay. And I think you can figure out the details on your own.
Yes. Thank you so
Any
much.
question?
Yes, actually, I do. But like,
Okay.
yeah. So actually, what you have just said is exactly what I have realized after I took the test, because I took the second test with the mentality that what I have assumed by IELTS is that it's just like making it like conversational as like normal saying, and I was totally wrong when I got the score. But I have a question for you. Can you help me to answer? So normally when you approach a speaking question, so would you try to answer it like with your own knowledge? I mean, you approach it as like you are providing information, or you are trying to answer to show off vocabularies. Like for example, right? So it's a very familiar topic, and you have this set of vocabularies. So you got to try to use them all in your answers, or you just try to answer the question as naturally as possible, or just a mix of both. Like, what's your approach?
Well, I would say the best of both worlds. I do agree with you that you should not treat IELTS as a normal conversation, although lots
Yes,
of
yes, yes,
high band candidates seem to support that idea. The
yes,
thing about those who are super fluent is that, right? Thank you, Sautry, Lona, Hannah Montana. You got the best of both worlds, so on and so forth. The thing about treating IELTS as a conversation is that if you don't keep your guard up, you might lose your focus and you
yes,
might fail to take out all the boxes that are gonna give you a good score. Understand?
yes,
For
yes,
very fluent, very proficient language learners and users, they automatically use advanced words without having to focus their energy on doing so. And
yes,
they've earned the right to do that,
yeah,
right? It's
yeah,
just that for less experienced candidates, they need to keep an eye out for what the examiner is actually using to assess them, you know?
yep,
Because like when you're having a normal conversation, it's perfectly fine for you to say, I don't know. And then the conversation moves along. And if you're struggling to find words to explain your answers, it's also acceptable, right? Nobody's going to judge you. But in the speaking test, your examiners are using all of these clues to put together a band score for you.
yeah,
Understand?
yep,
So there is a difference between like IELTS as a speaking test and like normal conversations. I mean, I agree that after a certain level, you can really just treat the speaking test as a cakewalk because like you're so fluent already. What's the point of preparing and you're making a big mess out of that situation, right? But
yep,
before we get to that particular level, which is a 9, by the way, um, it's better
mhm,
for you to stay vigilant. It's better for you to stay vigilant and essentially do your very best to express your language abilities,
yeah,
right?
yes,
Now, that does not mean that you should focus excessively on using lots of high-end vocabulary
yeah,
items because doing that may backfire. Like it's telling the examiner that you are desperate and
yes,
you are not selective enough when it comes to your lexical resources, you know?
yes,
So I would say that you have to like just to test things out and see where like the best spot for you is.
yeah,
And honestly, it's not something that well you can learn from people, but at the same time, I feel like it's something that you have to learn through trial and error. You know, you use lots of vocabulary once and you feel like, okay, my God, this is too much. And then, you know, you, you cut down on some of the phrases as, you know, this natural process of like evolving. And if you feel like, you know, there are too many easy words, then you might want to, you know, take things up a notch with more sophisticated phrases. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, that's great.
Mm.
Thank you so much for the insight.
Mm. Okay, that should be it for now. Bye bye.
Right. Thank you. Bye bye.
Janella. I wonder if Janella is in the room. Oliver, can you leave?
Oh, so I have
Thank
to
you.
leave myself?
I don't want to kick you out.
I don't
Hatini,
know
Hatini.
how to do that. You just kick me out.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello. Hello, Chung.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Hold on. What's your name again?
It's like Chum is like my middle name. So my first name is Tom.
Okay. So your real name is Tom, right?
Yes.
Chung Tom. Hmm. Okay. So what do you want?
Like a mini speaking test. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. Do you want some feedback with regard to, you know, your score and things like that?
Yes, definitely.
Let's talk about your free time. What do you enjoy doing in your free time?
Honestly speaking, like in my free time, I love to go for a walk in the park that is really nearby my house because, I'm a medical student, so I spend a lot of time on books, on textbooks, and on my iPad, just scrolling, just like reviewing all the slides. So I think it's better for me to work out because I have to burn my calories because when I'm under stress, I always eat a lot of junk foods to make me feel mentally better. So I
Hmm.
have maybe to run
Thank you.
yeah.
Do you want to spend Sorry, I had to cut to the chase. Do you enjoy spending your free time alone or with other people?
I think it depends because, I'm an introvert, so I do need time to recharge my batteries because every time that I talk, maybe to a new friend or maybe to those that I'm really familiar with, like I'm using off my energy. So I need to go back to my comfort zone to recharge my batteries. But I think I would love to maybe go to the movie theater with my friends at weekends. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
In the next part of the test, I'd like to discuss with you one or two general questions related to something that you have not talked about. Let's talk about movies. What types of movies are popular in your country?
I think there are some genres such as, some horror movies. Like, I don't know, but, Vietnamese people, they love to hear some stories about maybe ghosts, maybe because of how to say like the religion of our country, like we believe in ghosts and gods. So watching horror movies is like a way for us to discover more about our traditions,
Thank
about
you.
the beliefs.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you think that serious movies are more important than movies that are, humorous?
Can you repeat?
Do you think that serious movies are more important than um, comedy movies?
I think, they are the same, honestly, because, it depends on what you want to watch. Like, there may be times that you're a little bit stressed with your work, so you may have to watch some comedy movies so that they could put a laugh on your face and you would like forget all the things about your work or studying. But there may be times that you want to watch maybe some serious movies like about our lives, about all the problems that pervade in our society. Like, let me see, so it may be about like our environment, or maybe about like the way that people treat each other. So you may
Thank you.
want to watch.
Thank you. Let's talk
Yeah.
about humor. Do you think that all kinds of humor are like universally understood?
I think it depends on the culture because, like in different languages, humors are like understood in some very different ways. Like in our country, a number could be like a really fun story, like the number 36, because, yeah,
Thank you. That's the end of the speaking test.
yes.
Thank you. Okay. Well, do you have a band score in mind?
No, I took the test twice. So do you want to know the speaking score?
No, no, no.
Uh,
No. I don't want to know your scores.
oh,
I'm asking for a score for the score that you want to attain. Also, before we continue with that, Zoom, I can tell that you're stirring the pot in the comments section. I also noticed that you said something about the fact that this live stream is not that popular. Now, can you do something to help me with that? Thank you. Thank you. In the wisdom of Kim Kai. Thank you. Let's continue.
I
Um,
think
yeah, the score.
I would get somewhere between 7 and 7.5,
Okay.
maybe.
Well, so here's what I think. First of all, you're clearly capable of speaking English, which is a good
Yes.
thing. And do I need to tell you
Yeah.
about your strengths?
Yeah, I may have, I don't really pay attention to my strengths. So could you tell me
Okay,
about that?
so sure, let me entertain you for, let's say, 1 or 2 seconds. You're clearly capable of speaking English. You know how to extend your answers. You can use a wide range of vocabulary and grammar structures. Your pronunciation is easy to understand for the most part. You can demonstrate a wide range of phonological features which are sensible in most situations. However, I think that um, I feel like the way that you are pronouncing certain words is actually backfiring. Sometimes you tend to elongate certain sounds, which
Yeah.
actually interfere with the meaning of the word. Like when you say, in our country, this is what we do, in my comfort zone, elongate certain books, like there's nothing wrong with that. But when you use it on a frequent basis, as in like every 3 words, you would elongate that word. The problem
Yeah.
with that is that you start sounding like a one-trick pony. Understand? So you can
Yeah.
do that maybe once or twice. And I think the solution here is that you need to work on your chunking,
Yeah.
right? What you can do is that you can formulate your thoughts more carefully, and I say this, it's a painstaking process because essentially you're
Yeah.
rewiring your brain, right? It's just that for the time being, you can already extend your answers, but
Yeah.
you tend to like stretch all of these words out. So there's no variety in your intonation, there's no variety in your rhythm, but everything is so predictable, which is a problem. There's a difference
Yeah.
between being consistent and predictable. Do you understand?
Yeah.
If you're predictable, it means that I know what you're going to say, and you're using, let's say, these elongated vowels to stall for time. You understand?
Yeah.
But if you're consistent, it means that, okay, I know that you can, stress certain words, but then you're going to go through other words a lot faster. Understand?
Yeah.
So that's something I needed to work on. I don't assume that I need to tell you that, you're going to learn more accurate words, you're going to use a wider range of grammar structures, so on and so forth, because, all of these elements are taken for granted
Yeah.
for someone of your caliber, okay? So you need to
So
work on your chunking.
what band score do you think I would get on the retest?
For some reason, I can't see you getting a full-fledged 7, although I feel like you have the potential of a 7 already.
Yeah.
6.5 or 7 for now.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
A little bit disappointed.
I know.
Yeah.
Do you want a word of comfort?
What do you mean by saying that?
I can say something positive.
Yeah, please.
You can improve.
Yeah, I know, but I had a higher band score than what you expected. Like a year ago, maybe I stopped practicing speaking English, so yeah, it fell a little bit.
Sure.
Thank
Well then, look, there's no cognitive dissonance here. If you get a higher score than what I
Yeah,
think you would get, it's good news, right? It's good
yeah.
news. I've always loved it when, I give people a certain score and then they come back and, slap me in the face with a far higher score. So I hope you can do that.
Oh,
Yeah.
but it was a year ago.
I mean, this test is very conditional. So don't place too much emphasis on the score that you got, a year ago
Yeah,
and what you got today. Perhaps, I'm being unfair to you, so don't let
yeah,
it get to you. That's all.
yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Zoom, you're doing your very best to like this session. All right. Um, Jen Novem, hello.
Hello,
Hello. I like your profile picture.
thank
So
you.
artsy.
It was generated by AI, by the way.
Damn you.
No, it's still me, but generated by AI with my real photos.
Okay. Sure, what do you want?
Uh, I want to ask for advice because I want to upgrade my band score. I got
So
an
no
A for
speaking
speaking.
tests.
Yes, that's speaking, but I just feel like I'm not confident enough to get that band score the next time. Yeah,
Okay.
I took the test 2 months ago.
Okay. Wait, hold on. Thank you. Before we move on, I'd like to shout out to Tuduk. Tuduk is here again. Tuduk is someone who got like 990 something or another for TOEIC, and he got 8.5 for IELTS. Yeah, so Tuduk is in the building. Let's continue. So you want to have some advice with regard to your IELTS speaking?
Yeah. So I got 8, but I'm not confident enough to. It's like it was not a real 8 for me. I expected like some maybe 7 or 7.5, but I got that score, and I'm not so sure if I can get that score the next time. But by the way, I still want to achieve higher band score like 8.5 if possible.
So, what's your question?
Can I ask how can you improve from 8 to 8.5 or 7.5 to 8.5 in speaking?
Well, the thing is, if you're sorry, lots of things are taken for granted once you have, set foot into the territory of Band 7. Some of these things include learning new words, learning grammar structures, developing your ideas. Do you understand? So all of these things are supposed to be done on autopilot. So you definitely need to do all of these things. Okay, I'm not going to give you, a secret recipe with a selection of words and things like that because that's not how it works, right? So once you've got that out of the way, we're going to talk about accuracy. Do you have like phrases that you often use, or do you like use like brand new ideas all the time?
What do you mean by like
I
have
meant
the
what I meant.
phrase?
Like when you speak, do you notice that you tend to repeat certain ideas, or is it like a novel thought all the time?
Mm, I don't know. like, um, but it
Okay,
depends, right?
so so um, here's I'm not quite sure if it's a valid insight, but you see, like when you speak, I think that if you want to achieve a higher level of precision, you definitely need to repeat ideas. Do you
Mm,
understand? You need to repeat ideas. You might, of course, you have to, be able to talk about a range of topics, which definitely need you to like convey a wide range of ideas, right? But
mm,
after band 6, the range is taken for granted. Do you understand? The
mm,
range is taken for granted. So 7, 8, 9, the main factor that's going to distinguish these band scores would be your accuracy. So for band 7, 80%. Band 8, 90%. Band 9, 95, 99%. Or essentially, even when you make mistakes, your fluency is so good, um, these errors are virtually undetectable. You understand?
mm,
And I feel like the only way for you to actually like elevating your precision is by repeating what you have said from time to time. So that was why I asked you whether or not you noticed that, you tended to repeat certain ideas. For me, I have a collection of ideas off the top of my head because I talk about them all the time. So, these are my comfort zone. These are my domain, essentially, my domain of expertise, right? And I
mm,
think that that's something that you need to ask yourself as well. Like, if you want to get to a higher level, do you have ideas that you know how to talk about very well and in a multitude of ways? Like, I have many ways to talk about the fact that I'm busy. I have many ways to
mm,
talk about a trip. I can put my own spin on various ideas regarding my schedule and my shopping habits, and the fact that certain activities are really up my alley. You know,
mm.
so so that's something that I want you to think about. Like, do you repeat ideas, or do you say something completely new all the time?
I think in the previous test, I just go with the flow because
Mm,
the examiner asked me and they stopped me. Especially in speaking part three, I didn't
mm,
have enough time to think about how to develop my ideas. I
mm,
just answer with one or two sentences and they just immediately stopped me.
mm,
I expected band 7 only because I was stuck in that band score for quite a long time
mm,
and I didn't prepare. to be honest. So I didn't know. Actually, I don't know what is the inside of getting band 8 or band 8.5. So I think maybe it might be because the examiner is easygoing compared to the previous examiners then.
No, I mean, well, how should I say this? Obviously, you are capable of speaking English. That's out of the question. If you're band 7 at the very least, right? So for me, I do think that the the main difference here is that you have to maintain a high level of accuracy. That's
Mm,
that's the key element, right? So perhaps in a particular test, even though your examiner was sort of doubtful towards your abilities, which motivated him or her to ask you like 1,000 questions, you were still able to maintain your composure and your accuracy was ensured, which secured band 8 for you, you
mm,
know? So that was what you were able to do. But as far as I'm concerned, like after band 7, again, let me repeat this. After band 7, range is taken for granted. Like you can talk about all kinds of things, right? But
mm.
that is to be expected of someone at least 7.0 or even 6.0. If you're 6.0, you can already talk about a range of things. You can talk about like 3,000 ideas. You can talk about the sun, the skies, the moon, and why this live stream session is flop, you know?
Okay.
Essentially, you can talk about a wide range of things, but the difference between band 6.5 is that the more you try to talk about unfamiliar things, the more mistakes you make. Understand? What it can be like word choice, it can be pronunciation, it can be grammar structures. For band 7, fewer mistakes are made. For band 8, even fewer mistakes are made. Like you're accurate at least 90% of the time. And for band 8.8 and 8.5, your mistakes are virtually undetectable. Understand? So accuracy is key. Can you sort of wrap your head around that? I know I'm talking the abstract language, but then like you initiated the idea of venturing into this sort of abstract mess.
Okay, so when it comes to how I can practice to achieve that, I just talk, right? Or I just practice every day? Or is there any like way that you apply to
Can
have
you
that skill?
distinguish can you
Mhm.
distinguish the two concepts, range and accuracy?
Yeah, sure. Tell
Sure.
me what it is.
So after band 6.5, range is taken for granted. It means that I'm not going to give you compliments based on how many ideas you can produce. Understand? Like when you talk about ice cream, you can talk about the flavor, you can talk about the brand, you can talk about the price, you can talk about where you can buy it, you can talk about colors, you can talk about um, essentially virtually like anything under the sun related to ice cream, right? You can talk about the celebrities that have endorsed certain ice cream brands, right? So after 6.5, you're supposed to be able to do all of these things, okay? It's just that if you want to get to a higher level, you have to be more accurate. And by that, I
Mm,
mean you're not supposed to use the wrong words when talking about the same thing again and again, right? So for instance, if you make mistakes, basic mistakes, like, how can I say this? Um, do you think that when I was, that there's this phrase here, when I was 5 years younger, do you think there's anything wrong with it?
mm, I don't
No,
know.
right? Grammatically speaking, grammatically
Mm,
speaking, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just that over time, you realize that even though it's grammatically accurate, it's better for you to say, when I was younger, like 5 years ago, you
mm,
know? So the accuracy comes in, that particular part where you say the same thing again and again, but your words get more accurate. get more precise. Like instead of saying, listening to music is not exactly my cup of tea, there's nothing wrong with it, grammatically speaking. But the more accurate version would be something like, like rock music is not my cup of tea. Can you tell the difference between these two phrases?
It's about the precision. I mean the
Yes.
accuracy of
Yes.
of the second
Yes.
phrase. Yeah.
And you can also work on your precision by repeating the same idea again and again. It's just in different languages. For instance, today when you're talking about, I don't know, perhaps buying on Shopee, you might make 3 mistakes. But tomorrow, when you do that again, you might want to reduce the number of mistakes, just one mistake at a time.
Okay. But I think the best way to achieve higher accuracy is watching movies or get exposure to natural English, like native like language, isn't it? Because it's quite hard for us to detect errors ourselves.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah, so that's why I'm asking you like how you practice to achieve that level. Like you watch movies or you practice with native speakers or
Hold on. I think that I have been pretty consistent with this message. I mean, I talked about the same thing the other day. After a certain level, all of the things that you have mentioned are taken for granted. Like it doesn't really matter where you learn these words from. You can learn from, TV shows. You can learn from movies. You can learn from podcasts. You're supposed to be able to do that. So like it doesn't really matter what sources you're using. You have to learn something from somewhere. Do you understand? So you see, that's why I'm not saying that like it's the most crucial thing because you're supposed to be able to do that after band six. After band six, after band seven, you're supposed to, watch videos on a regular basis. You're supposed to, read books. You're supposed to like listen to podcasts and whatnot. I mean, that's certainly a good way to do it. Okay.
yeah.
It's just that when you practice, you have to have a degree of repetition. Like when you look at, you can, hop on your own result page to see what your IDB and BC have to say about, students who want to get a higher level in speaking. They always say, definitely you need to expose yourself to various sources of English, right? But I don't mention that because after band six, you're supposed to be able to do that on your own accord. You can watch movies if you want. You can watch like podcasts. Like I watch talk shows all the time. Okay, but like the real difference between someone who is 6.5 and 8.5 is the way, well, in my opinion, is the way that they practice what they have been exposed to. Like the practice has to be deliberate and it has to focus on specific goals, you know? So I don't think that I will give you the keyword or the buzzword that you're looking for, like watching TV and, so on and so forth. Because personally, I've been watching the same talk show host for years on end, and it has not made a tangible difference in my performance, right? I have to take the bull by the horns and practice the way that I want my skill to progress, So I have to iron out all the mistakes. I have to focus on controlling my chunks. I have to focus on using ideas in different contexts. You understand? So for me, that's my real answer. I mean, I agree that you have to watch videos and so on and so forth. But these activities are superficial in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with doing these activities. It's just that these are superficial. These are superficial. Like I've watched Oprah Winfrey 1,000 times. That doesn't mean that I want to speak like Oprah Winfrey and get everybody a car. No, I have to practice. And the music, podcasts and videos are fine, right? You pick what you want. You pick your poison. But then you have to practice. Okay? That's all.
Okay,
I
thank
know
you
that
so much.
I know that I'm not giving you the buzzword that you want. I mean, I'm aware of that, and I'm being very blunt with you about it. Okay? But like you're asking for my opinion, and I'm telling you to your face that like you can do all the things that you want, but then your practice has to focus on your precision. Okay?
Yeah, I see. So thank you so much.
Okay. Right. That's a bit much to swallow, I think. So what do you want? I want to call someone else. Jen, Novem. Oh, okay, good. Thank you.
I didn't. Oh, sorry, I didn't expect this. Hello, how are you today?
I'm dying. How are you?
I'm about to hit the sack, but then I got caught into.
Okay. Look, I'm not gonna force anybody to do
No,
anything.
I
Like if you
love it. I love it when I hear you say.
say what?
I like
Say
your
good
insight.
night.
I really like your insight.
Insight. What insight are you talking about?
The IL stuff.
Oh. Well, okay.
I mean, I want to make friend with you. In a real life, I crave for a person like that.
Well, you'll find that I'm not exactly a good friend. Well, then how old are you then? If you have no interest in practicing your speaking, then
Yeah,
we can
maybe
talk
not.
for a while, and then I'll let
Maybe
you
not.
go.
Yeah. Maybe not today. I didn't expect you to invite
I
me
know.
in.
I know. Let's move on. What's your name, darling?
Call me stupid. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna call anybody stupid. I mean, I'm gonna do that to my students, but not you. You're a stranger. Well then, how old are you?
28. I'm 28.
28. Okay. And I assume that you have a full-time job. Are you fed up with it?
No, I enjoy, but not so enjoy. Not so like I used to.
Okay. So you're going through a phase with your job.
Yeah, I thought I'm aware of that. I'm in the middle of a sort of transitional period. I feel it, but then I don't know when to get out of this kind of race.
Okay. Well
But thanks for
then,
asking.
I mean, no, I understand what you're talking about. I went through that phase several years ago. And have you got a plan for your future career?
Quite vague actually. I have some, but then I just try to end the year first with the things that I'm doing right now, and then
Okay. Right. And I want to know more about you, but I'm not sure if I'm that
where are you? Sorry,
interested.
where are you living?
I'm in Hanoi, the
Hanoi.
most
Oh,
polluted city on the planet right now.
yeah.
And how about you?
Đà Nẵng.
Ah, Da Nang is the place to be.
Yeah.
We can be friends.
Yeah, we could be friends.
I like Da Nang. I'm not quite sure if I'm gonna like the people there. I assume that they are friendly, like you are.
Um,
I have a
do you,
question. What is
do
the
you
weather
read a
like in
lot of
Da Nang right now?
books? Sorry?
Oh, first of all, I don't read a lot of books. I'm not, a bookworm. Not that there's anything wrong with it. It's just that, like, my mind just spaces out every single time I open a book. So I'm only gonna read books if I feel like there's a purpose to that. And usually, um, I read science materials to prepare for my lessons, and
Ooh,
that's just
nice.
about it. Um, yeah, okay, good. Well then, what is the weather like in Da Nang right now? I know that it's night.
Pissing with rain. Pissing with rain.
Oh, okay. Um,
But chill, like very chill. Pleasant.
okay. But then I heard that a storm was coming.
Was about to hit here? I don't know. I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
Okay. Ah, Da Nang. That sounds like a
How old are
lovely
you?
place. Can you guess?
25.
No. I do look 25, and if you see me on a good day, you might think that I'm 22, but no,
Oh,
I'm 29. I'm older than you.
oh, you're older than me. Great.
Okay, nice to meet you. You can
Yeah,
go
really
off
nice
now.
to talk to you. I mean, I don't know how to, yeah, how to. I just want to talk. I just want to talk. But I mean, not tonight.
Okay,
Appreciate you picking me up here.
okay. Have fun.
Yeah, you too. Take care.
Take care. There's a Jackson win here. One more person and then we're off. We're gonna go off. I wonder if he's gonna jump on. Is it that late? Stupid, can you leave? Sorry, that's your account name.
What should I do?
You can leave.
Wait. Oh, đây là. Ủa? Leave như nào?
Hold on, I can help you with that.
Hello?
We've met, right?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Okay. So, yesterday I just ran into your live stream and I'm a little bit impressed with your ability to convey your idea in English. And I would like to have some questions for you.
Have we met?
Okay. So, how I can register for your course?
Hold on. What is happening? Oh, sorry. It's 12:30. My mind is not functioning like normally. I have a question. Have we met?
Not yet. I mean, I quite impressed with your ability to, in English. So I want to register for your course. Okay. So do you have any class in the upcoming weeks?
Yes. Sorry. The comment section is lit. Yes, I do have courses. I just didn't expect people to, hop on this live stream session just to ask for courses. But okay, I do have courses, but I think that you can hop on Threads or Facebook to get more information about my courses.
Okay. So how long have you taught English?
I would say roughly 8 years.
Oh, 8 years. Which major? Which major when you were at university?
Can you guess?
I think your major is English, business English or something like that, right? Or
I was
science.
I was never that smart. Yeah, um my major was teachings chemistry in English.
Oh, wow. That's impressive. Actually, when I was at secondary and high school, I hate chemistry. My score in this subject is quite low. Yeah,
Okay. I
yeah,
mean, it's something that I can get behind. I used to hate chemistry as well, but
yeah.
then I really enjoy the practical aspect of chemistry, doing
Yeah.
experiments and things like that.
Okay, so why why you become an English teacher? Why did you become an English teacher?
I discovered that I had a knack for it. When I was in college, I got 8.0, and I think that I'm not quite sure if this is even worth bragging about, but okay, back then I did get 8.0, and I was the first of my generation, in that class year, to get it. And how should I say this? Hello, Tao. Hello, Fun Tao. I can see you. But okay, where was I again? All right, and then how can I say this? It's at the end of the day, so my mind is not like thinking coherently. But at the time, I was offered a job, yeah, related to teaching English. I actually wanted to, function more like an interpreter, translating things in like meetings related to chemistry and science. But yeah, I did a course, and apparently the lady liked me a lot. So yeah, I've been teaching English ever since that point. But I do think that if you know me, as in you really know me, my bread and butter is not English, it's science.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so do you love teaching English?
Why are you asking me all these questions? I mean, first of all, I'm not looking for a job, all right?
Yeah.
I mean, the other day, like a parent called me up, and she said that she was recommended to me by trusted sources, and she proceeded to interview me for like 16 minutes. And then I realized that apparently I was, doing a job interview, which was not what I was looking for. So if you have questions regarding my qualifications, then I don't assume that you should ask me here. Although, you know a few things about me, that's all.
Okay.
Mm,
Uh, Actually, I've just started to improve my English skill,
mm,
especially my speaking skill.
mm.
I started download ChatGPT application into my phone, and I start to use it to improve my English ability. But it's quite hard for me at first. So, can you share with me some techniques that I can apply to improve my speaking skill? Okay, I have I have an intention to register for your course, and of course, I want
Uh,
to
First
use
of
the
all, it does
technology.
not make a difference. If you
Yeah,
want to have some tips,
yeah,
that's fine.
yeah,
It doesn't really matter if you register for my course or not.
yeah.
Um, Because honestly, from my personal experience, like the Kili that you're seeing right now is very, very different from the person that you're gonna meet in my courses. Um, when it comes to speaking for foundation level, I don't think that you're foundation level by virtue of what you have already said, right? So let's say you're not foundation, you can already cover basic words, as in your individual words, right? That's a good thing. Um, for 4.5 to 5.5, you need to gain the momentum of you're just speaking at length, right? So try to use more words, try to use um, more subordinate clauses like, when, because, although, so on and so forth. And every once in a while, um, let's say, a complex structure, which is, right? Which is, so on and so forth. Um, you should also work on chunking. You can also work on chunking, like you can, like, instead of, going through one word at a time, you can try to cover a phrase, something like, instead of, when I was younger, you can practice saying, when I was younger, I didn't like mathematics because it was really hard and there were many formula. Do you notice these chunks? These groups of words.
Like junking verb, like because.
No, chunking as in groups of words. Like when I was a child is a group of words.
Oh yeah.
Good. So that's what you need to work on. And then you can expand your vocabulary while also maintaining a high level of accuracy. Like you should not say when I'm younger, right? When I was younger. That sort of accuracy.
So from band 6 to band 7, how long can I take? That's point.
Well, 6 to 7, I think that roughly 200 hours. But more that number is given like on average is the statistics thing. So 200 hours and essentially like you need hold on, I'm not sure if I'm connecting the dots right. So 200 hours of like independent practice and around a third of that for like instructions.
Okay, so do you have any class in the afternoon?
No, not possible. Only in the evening.
Oh yeah. So can you tell so which hour?
Look, okay, look, this is just not. I have to cut you short here because like this is really not the purpose of the session. I appreciate you come. I appreciate you're here, and I like talking to you. But look, you can just hop on Threads or um, you know, uh, Facebook, and then I'll give you all the details. Okay?
Okay, I see.
Right. Right. Well, have you any other question for me?
Okay, so thank you so much. I will scroll to your Facebook to learn more about your course. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Right. I think that's all the time that we have for today. Mostly because there's no other question. So I'll see you tomorrow. I need to do something else about the kind of content I put up here. Writing. I have to do a bit of writing. Okay. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.